the chip shot. There I've selected 9-iron as the ideal club to play that shot. It gave me just enough loft to elevate the ball 4 or 5 feet onto the green and to roll the ball out the other 25-30 feet. The setup. We must start by aiming the club face in a direction we want the ball to start. Sometimes that's directly at the flagstick, sometimes it could be either a little to the left or a little to the right. Once we've established a square club face, we then need to position our bodies correctly. It's a fairly simple matter here. We use a relatively narrow stance, perhaps 6 or 7 inches of width between the heels. The ball is going to be positioned somewhere near the center of the chest, the sternum. You certainly don't want the center of your chest behind the ball. So in bringing the upper body slightly forward, we need a weight distribution that would tend to favor the left side. So if we said you were approximately 55% of your weight on your left side and 45% on your right, you'd be pretty near the mark. As soon as I move my weight slightly to the left, what we tend to see is that the shaft moves slightly forward. In other words, it just goes a little more forward than normal. Don't worry about that, that's an acceptable fact. What I'd like you to see is I'm also gripping down the handle of the club. I've actually got my hands closer to the chrome shaft than is normal on other shots. That's to give me control. Control of the club head, control of the length of the golf swing. My head is positioned relatively central to the ball and I'm comfortable and balanced. From a down the line position, we can see that my feet are slightly open to the target, my knees slightly open to the target, my hips slightly open. My shoulders are just a fraction open. They're not as open as my lower body. We open the lower body to allow our feet and legs and hips to move out of the way a little bit. We don't need to do that so much with the upper body, which is going to move during the swing anyway and naturally rotate out of the way. So I stand here in that relatively slightly open position. My weight is distributed between the heels and the balls of the feet, but if you feel your chest is a little more over the ball, it's certainly going to help you to create a more simple and effective golf swing. So I'm balanced, eyes more or less over the ball, and in a comfortable position, ready to play the shot. Moving into the backswing. This is a relatively short action, one that does not have an awful lot of independent hand or wrist movement. But I would recommend that you do have a slight soft feeling in your hands and wrists. Many players imagine that the chipping action is a stiff wristed one, but you're going to lose feel and you're going to lose the flow of your golf swing if your hands and wrists are too stiff or too tight. So try to relax them and imagine that you're moving the swing relatively from your shoulders, but there's a slight softening or relaxation in your hands, a slight setting there. Not much, we certainly don't need much wrist action in a chip. So from here, the club moves away smoothly from the shoulders. The triangle we talked about earlier, this triangle which is formed between the arms and the shoulders and the chest, moves in one piece. The club travels back to about 8 o'clock position on a clock face. One thing that you must remember to do is not to transfer your weight back with the movement of the swing. The actual position you've set up at address remains constant. So whilst it's an upper body rotation, the lower body is passive. Now in terms of direction, path of the golf swing and angles, we can see that the club does come slightly inside and up. What it doesn't do, it doesn't go straight back and here. If we allow the club to come on a natural inside arc, the club face remains square to the arc of the golf swing or the path of the golf swing. And that is the correct position. So we move the club away and into position here. The downswing. We're just really reversing what we've done in the backswing. We've got our weight distribution correct, our balance correct, our head position correct, and we've turned our triangles slightly to here. Now really all we do is turn back to the target. We want to turn our upper body, arms, hands and the club back through the shot in a smooth, simple way, back and through. What we don't want to do is try to let the hands take over or rush the forward swing. So once you get here, smoothly through, keeping your eyes on the ball through impact. Simple movement. One thing to be careful of, you don't need to think of transferring your weight or pushing your hands forward. You've already taken those factors into account in your setup. You've set up there with your weight forward, your hands slightly forward. You just really need to move that position through the ball. As the club travels to impact and then on through impact, of which in most cases you will have just brushed the grass. We're not taking a divot in a chip shot. It's rare we need to dig into the ground and this leading edge needs to take much turf at all. Just in most terminology would be called bruising the grass, grazing the grass a little bit. As you can see there when I hit this shot, a little bit of grass flies up. So as I go through, basically, my weight will move slightly with me. There's a little bit of emphasis that as I turn this chest, the weight is going with me. But there's no independent, obvious weight transfer in a chip shot. The follow through is just another swing which comes back inside and up. We don't need to make an exaggerated through to the target swing. If we do, we're changing the direction of our golf swing, we're changing its path, and we're bringing independent movement of the hands and arms into the shot. So allow the club to travel from impact into the follow through on a natural inside and upward arc. And the follow through should finish at about, say about 4 o'clock. So you've got your 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock position in the golf swing, here and through. The triangle we talked about, it's been there in the backswing, it's there again at impact, and it's here in the follow through. You're balanced, and as your chest turns to the target, allow your head to come up and look at the outcome of your shot. Make it natural, keep the rhythm and balance simple. That really is summing up the simple way to play a chip shot.